What's up, Sports Talk Detroit? In this video, I'm giving you an update on Isaiah Stewart beef stew. How serious is the injury? And it looks like the Pistons, I don't want to say lucked out, but it looked like it could have been serious. And when you see a guy as tough as Isaiah Stewart hobble off the court immediately, straight back to the locker room, and you see that he got rolled up on that knee, you start to get nervous, and it looks like we got away with one. It is being called a bone bruise, and what they're saying right now is that is a bone bruise to the right knee and that he will be reevaluated in 1 week. Now, that doesn't mean he's coming back in a week. In fact, it means it's highly unlikely that he'll come back in a week, and I don't think the Pistons are going to rush him back. They have no reason to rush him back. It's not like they're in a desperate need to win games now. In fact, I'm going to be putting out a video later about, are the Pistons winning too many games down the stretch? And I know that sounds like a cheesy content. We always want our team to win games, but we do have to ask ourselves that question. But what does it mean for the Pistons right now? Well, it means a couple things. It means, one, we dodged a bullet. It's not an ACL. It's not an MCL. It's not a meniscus. It's nothing like that. It's just a bone bruise. He should be good. And when I saw this injury, I was like, no, Isaiah, because he had the foot injury or ankle, I forget which one it was, in the last offseason that didn't allow him to develop. I think some of us wanted him to in the offseason, so he left his development for in-season, and that's not good. That's not what you want. But it also means that there's going to be more playing time for Marvin Bagley. And I think that no Piston fan will be upset about this. I did a video previously, you can go back and watch it, about why the Detroit Pistons need to play Marvin Bagley more often at the 5. And that is exactly what's going to happen with this. With Stewart being hurt, Kelly Olynyk and Marvin Bagley are probably going to split minutes at the 5, and Bagley will probably get some extra run at the 4 as well, which he already has been playing. So I want to go into the positives and negatives of this injury. And I know that sounds weird. How can you have positives from an injury? But let me stick with me here. So I'm going to give you the positives first, the negatives second. The positives are this is like I just said, we get a better look at Marvin Bagley. This is a guy that we brought in. He's at the end of his contract. Now we are going to get extended run from him. It's not just that he comes in at the back end with Cade and the starters, and then he plays deep and he plays about 24, 25 minutes a night. I would imagine that his minutes could hit that 30-minute or above mark. In fact, they kind of have to, unless you're going to go even deeper to the bench, and I don't think that's something they want to do. We haven't seen a Luka Garza sighting in quite some time. So we're going to get to see more Bags, and we're going to get to see more Bagley at the 5 as well, which I'm really excited about. People say he can't be a 5 in this league. I disagree. I think he can be a 5. So that's there. Another positive, I think this helps Cade Cunningham on the offensive end. Now, Isaiah Stewart has been doing really good. James Edwards of The Athletic wrote a cool article, if you will. It was an article, but he wrote an article about the highway screen that Isaiah Stewart does. I'm not going to give away what that is. That's a paid subscription, so go read it. He does a great job, Edwards with The Athletic, but the highway screen where he kind of sets the screen, then goes down into the paint and sets a second screen to clear the path for Cade. Well, he's gotten good at that, which is fantastic. But one thing Stewart isn't is a lob threat. He just isn't. And Bagley absolutely is. And he's already started to show amazingly good chemistry in a short period of time with Cade Cunningham. It is already starting to look like poetry in motion when those two are on the court at the same time. So we should be able to see them on the court a lot more. Hopefully Bagley gets the starts, and we get to see him working next to Cade and the other starters, and we get to see what that presence looks like on the offensive end, which will be better than Stewart's presence on the offensive end. It just will. That's not a knock on Stewart, but Bagley is very talented on the offensive end. So what about the negatives? There's going to be negatives in this, and while the offense is the positive side of things, the negative is going to be on the defensive side. Bagley often gets lost on the defensive side of the ball. That was a knock of him in Sacramento. He's still shown the ability to get lost. Now, he does have good athletic ability. He'll get a block or two, get a steal or two, but he gets lost. Isaiah Stewart was becoming a beast, both defensively as a pretty decent rim protector, and just he was starting to clean up the boards. This last month, he had been playing really, really well. He had settled into his role, and he started playing as a starter this year, how he was playing as a reserve last year, which was a really good sign. So we're going to lose that defensive presence. And I have a weird negative, and it could be a positive at the same time, but I think it's a negative. If Marvin Bagley plays well, which he will, with extended time and extended run, guess what? If he plays well, he's going to want to be paid well, and he is due a payday in this, and it's going to be a small sample size, and that's what the Pistons will talk about. They'll talk about the defensive presence, they'll talk about the injury prone and all that kind of stuff, but Marvin Bagley is going to demand some money. So I think that could be a negative, but we'll see what that looks like. I am really intrigued to see what the contract negotiations look like. Remember, he's a restricted free agent. Yeah, isn't that funny how I do an Isaiah Stewart video and it ends up being more about Marvin Bagley than Stewart? I think it's just he's the shiny new object. We want to talk about it. We want to talk about the future could look like. And I don't think it hurts that the Pistons have gone on this not pure winning streak, but they are winning often since signing Bagley, and even though he's been hurt for a few games, they're still winning. So here's my final thoughts before I end this video. I love Isaiah Stewart. I am so thankful that he's not seriously hurt and that it's just a bone bruise. And I know bone bruises aren't fun. They're extremely painful, but it's not something that is going to mess with his career. It's not something that's going to mess with next year. And when that injury happened, you could hear it on the broadcast. Kelser was worried. People were worried when he went straight to the locker room. And then you hear almost immediately, it seems like, hey, he's out for the rest of the game. He's done. And you're just like, oh no, what is this? Like, how bad was it really? And so I'm thankful that Isaiah Stewart wasn't seriously hurt. Let me know, what do you think are some positive negatives that I'm missing? And also, hopefully you are as thankful as I am that it's not a serious injury for Isaiah Stewart. If you made it this far in the video, you must like what we're doing. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. That's super helpful for us. We love engaging with you guys in the comments, but also just love the support that you give us with that subscribe button. So hit that if you have not yet. And as always, go Pistons.